Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Book Club with Katie Kelly. And it's not that hype. It's not that kind of hype, but welcome. It's a podcast where I keep myself accountable, baby, to read a different book every week to help improve my health, my wealth, my wisdom, and my peace. And I do that by finding books that go along those topics, and then I talk about them. I read them first, and then I talk about them on this podcast. I do one a week, and I do that to help my brain process the information, and then also gives you the chance to take the advice, the wisdom from these books, and apply it to your own life. And I do it once a week. I do it live. I do this podcast live once a week on Mondays. I don't fucking know what time I do it anymore. Today it's 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. I used to always do it at 8 a.m., but with work the last few months, I've been doing it later in the day, like around 11. But today I got shit to do. So I'm getting started now, doing the podcast now. So, yeah, come join me live on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, or just listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. If you want to join me live, you can go to my blog and find links to the YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook under cadenkelly'sblog.wordpress.com. My Twitch is my video game name, so and then I think Facebook is Caden's podcast, and YouTube is just Caden Kelly. So I don't know how to share all of that in one fell swoop. I do it with I do it through the blog. And on the blog, you'll find that I do a weekly entry, and I did not write one last week. That's on me. I'm gonna catch up. I've got 2. I need to catch up on 2, and then I need to write 1 this week. So you might see 3 entries from me this week. Oh yes, I turned my FPS down. On my stream to 30 since I started, but this last week I turned it up to 48, and it looks so much better, man. It sucks. I have to turn it down because when I play video games, I can't stream 60 FPS. I could barely stream 30 FPS with this camera and the game because I don't know. There's something lags. Anyway, so that's my shit. I do my blog. I post everything goes to the blog. It has links to my socials, so you can check out the some little videos that I do sometimes. And the blog also has links to my other podcast called Here's the Point, where I do this podcast, but I do it in 15 minutes or less. I try to. Sometimes it's like 17 minutes, but that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes it's 17 minutes. So there's that. That's how it go. So yeah, I got a new hat yesterday. Went up to the Snow Basin Oktoberfest, and I got this dope retro hat, and it reminds me of Mac Miller. It looks like a Mac Miller hat to me. It's like really big on the face. I usually wear dad hats on the podcast, so this is a fun hat to wear. I gotta be honest. I feel like shit. I woke up feeling like crap today. Tried to get up at 5:30. I ended up snoozing till 6:30, and still got a workout in. I got my breakfast and my cold shower. And actually, after my cold shower, I felt significantly better, but I still kind of feel like crap, and I can't put my finger on it. Because I got plenty of sleep, even though I tried to get up at 5. I went to bed at 8:30, so because your boy needs to sleep. But I might be getting sick, or maybe I didn't drink a ton of this. I had 1 beer at the Oktoberfest yesterday, so I didn't even drink. I think what I really think it is last week I had a really disciplined week with food, and I exercised a lot more, and I ate really, really well. And then Saturday I ended up eating Cafe Rio burrito and chips and queso, and stayed up till close to midnight. And I think that's what did it. And it's just because I felt like crap yesterday too, but today I just felt worse. So, but I really think it was fucking doing that stupid shit. So, it's tough, man. My girlfriend and I, we cleaned up our diet. We cleaned up our pantry. Well, our fridge fucking broke, so we lost all of our food anyway. But we restocked and got a bunch of healthier foods, and we came up with a diet plan, our own diet plans. We started exercising a whole bunch of extra exercise, bunch of good sleep, and last week, and for the last couple weeks, I've been shorthanded at work, so I've been doing a lot of hands-on on the job work. And my body's so tired, but I was fueling it really well, and I was still getting plenty of sleep. So I think in my, I I should have felt at like as crappy as I feel now. I should have felt last week because of how extra hard I was working. But I felt great last week, and then the weekend came, and I decided to eat a Cafe Rio burrito and a whole thing of chips and queso all to myself, and I think it fucked me up. So what sucks is eating really clean like that and exercising like a lot of extra exercise. It's not fun, and it's really hard, and it takes a lot of time. And the especially the eating, it's just one of our favorite things to do. One of our favorite date nights is to order out and watch a movie. And I mean, how many other people are doing that? And it's just fun, and the food is tasty, and we get to relax. But we've been not doing that and exercising and eating really clean, and it's just not fun. But we feel great. I felt great last week. It's just stupid trade off. It's life is all about trade offs, right? You give up the novelty of new foods and a bunch of different variety, and which makes me feel like poo, versus eating the same thing every goddamn night, which is for me, I eat a bunch of steaks and ground beef and fruits. I'm kind of going back to that carnivore-ish diet from Paul Saladino to get a lot of protein and a lot of fats and just a lot of whole foods, really. But I felt great. It wasn't fun. Like it's boring, and it takes extra time to prepare the food and to buy the food. To anyway, that's where we're at these days. So I feel like crap today, but I think that's why. And so, would I rather just like continue to feel like crap and eat what I want, or would I rather like miss out on eating good food and not really healthy food and feel like crap? I don't know. It's trade-offs. It's trade-offs. Let's jump into this book because there's some controversy to address. Let me get some coffee. It's early enough so I got my coffee. I hope you got yours too. Oh, that's good stuff. I'm starting to love, I think I'm addicted to my morning cup of coffee. I could cut myself off after like 10:30 a.m., but in the the whole time before 10:30, I just want to drink coffee. And I think it's the creamer, because the creamer is so fucking good. Nice mood lighting. Yeah, dude, I got this with this black light, this blackout curtain behind me. It really sets the tone. And I'm going to turn off the ring light because with the ring light off, it makes it really red. Oh, no, it doesn't. Not on the camera. That sucks. Well, if you were in IRL, the light is awesome. So let's talk about this book, because this book sucked, honestly. The book is Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erickson. The 4 types of human behavior and how to effectively communicate with each in business and in life. All right. Spoiler alert, this book sucked, and I'll tell you why. But I'm gonna give you all of the details. We're gonna tell a story out of it. So last week I started reading this, and the first few chapters were really awesome. First couple chapters maybe, and then they started going into these different color behaviors. So if you remember, or if you're familiar with the personality test, where you answer a bunch of questions and it'll tell you if you're red or white or yellow or blue. This is the same thing, but about behavior. This book doesn't have the test. This book just talks about your color. So as I was listening to it and learning the whole what the deal was, I became incredibly dissatisfied with the content of the book. The first couple chapters are about. So chapter 1's called "Communication Happens on the Listener's Terms," and I really like that because, he says after everything is said, the only thing that matters is what the listener understands, which is huge, right? No matter how well you can communicate, your message doesn't mean shit if the listener isn't paying attention, or doesn't understand your lingo, or isn't following along, or misses something, or gets distracted, or whatever. No matter how effective of a communicator you are, communication happens on the listener's terms. So that was really intriguing. Chapter 2 was BS. Chapter 3. Okay, so let me before I keep going, let me tell you why. Okay. So the whole book really is about the whole book is like, what's red behavior, what's yellow behavior, what's green, what's blue. And then it basically talks about what you should do if you're a red and you're interacting with the blue, and if you're a green and you have this job and you're in this position, and how to deal with conflict if you're a yellow. And it's so dumb. Learning new things, body language with the colors, real life examples, adaptations, how to handle idiots. These are chapter titles. Stress factors, what makes us mad as hell. So it was dumb. It was dumb, but I didn't know why, because I when I found this book, I was looking for a psychology book on behavior, and this was one of the highest rated books in the store. So I bought it, and I didn't do any research on it beforehand. And after I finished it, I Googled. Well, yeah. And first, after I finished it, I went through his bio. So here's Thomas Erikson, a handsome devil at that. I think he's from Switzerland or Sweden. Thomas Erikson is an expert on communication. He works with developing organizations from a leadership perspective. In the past 18 years, he has trained more than 5,000 executives to be better and more effective leaders. Thomas has written several popular books Thomas has written several popular science books on communication and human behavior. Surrounded by Idiots has been translated into more than 40 languages and has sold millions of copies around the world. Mashed potatoes. Sounds like there was some required reading before this book. Yes. I didn't know shit about the I thought the color scheme, it was going to be about the personality colors thing, but it wasn't. It was about the behavior one. But here's the problem. He doesn't talk about the test at all. He doesn't talk about how we identify the people as different colors. He doesn't explain the research behind the studies that explain how people are different colors. He doesn't talk about all he does is talk about what the red person is, what a yellow person is, a blue and a green, and then how they interact and how they make each other mad, and how they should be dynamic. It didn't make any sense. So after I read his little bio, I Googled, because he doesn't have any credentials. So I Googled Thomas Erikson credentials, and I got a whole long Google response with a bunch of controversy as to his credentials. I should have had this. I have it on my iPad. I should have had it pulled up right here. Let me see if I can find it, because there was one article in particular that I found. Oh, Thomas Erikson credentials. Okay. The top hit is called "How Swedes Were Fooled by One of the Biggest Scientific Bluffs of Our Time." Yeah, so this guy, David Sumter. Oh, I'm sorry. David Sumter translated it. Dan Katz wrote an article on the Medium with that title. Dan Katz, licensed psychologist and psychotherapist, explains why Thomas Erickson's success with his book, Surrounded by Idiots, is one of the biggest pseudoscience scandals in recent history. This version was translated into English and edited by David Sumter. So, yeah, dude, this guy calls him a fraud. This Dan Katz calls Thomas Erickson a fraud. So I got really worried, and not worried, but I got like really intrigued by this guy and this test. So I did my own research after reading this article, which was an awesome article. The conclusion to the article pretty much was there's no validity to this test. It's all theory. It's all theoretical. It's pseudoscience. And Thomas Erickson is a pseudoscientist. He has no degree. He has no formal education, no psychological experience, no psychological or psychotherapy experience. All of his experience is in the work field. He was a sales team manager, and then just has become a how did he describe himself? Like, he goes from businesses to business to like work on the business psychology. He works with developing organizations from a leadership perspective. In the past 18 years, he's trained more than 5,000 executives to be better and more efficient leaders. Yeah. So he's just winging it. And I don't discredit him for that, because I don't have any credentials. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But this guy, like, okay, so maybe I had high expectations and I bought this thinking it was going to be another like awesome psychology book, and it wasn't. And I caught the BS from the beginning. I just couldn't put my finger on what it was. So but now in retrospect, now that I am talking about it and thinking about it after I read these articles, he doesn't talk about the test. He doesn't even mention how the test works and how finding out that a person is a red influences their behavior or influences how they interact with other people. In fact, it's the other way around. He says that because you act this way means you are a red, right? And it's all a bunch of BS. And just to make sure I wasn't crazy, I Googled a couple other psychologist authors that I've read, like Robert Sapolsky, Behave. Remember that one? The guy that lived with bonobos for 20 years to study their behavior. He's a legit psychologist, and he has... Anyway, the authors that I Googled didn't have any backlash come up under when I Googled their name plus credentials. Thomas Erickson has lots of controversy around his name. So, but I think we can mashed potatoes. But I think we can all agree that the book has a great eye-catching title. Yeah, Surrounded by Idiots, and it comes from one of his bosses when he was a young lad. His boss said, "Oh, I'm surrounded by idiots," and Thomas laughed at him, and the boss was serious, and he said, "Everyone that works for me is an idiot." And he's like, he's like, "This is what got me into behavioral science and psychology is why would he think that everyone's an idiot? Is he not an idiot?" So let me tell you about this test before I go into any of the notes that I have. Let me tell you about this test. So the personality test this behavioral test is called the DISC assessment, DISC, and that's an acronym for, it's on the backside, dominance, influence, stability, and compliance. Those are the four behavioral personalities, behavioral categories or whatever. So let me tell you a little bit about. And first I'll say too, the DISC method, Wikipedia. So the guy that discovered or invented this behavioral theory, his name is something Marston. William Moulton Marston. DISC assessments are behavioral self-assessment tools based on the 1928 DISC emotional and behavioral theory of psychologist William Moulton Marston. The tools are designed to predict job performance. However, the scientific validity of DISC has been contested and is by some considered to be pseudoscience. DISC is an acronym, the theory describing personality through 4 claimed central traits: dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance. And to be fair, to be transparent, the acronym changes from website to website. Everybody uses a different acronym. So Homie uses inspiring and Wikipedia uses inducement. Homie uses submission. I'm sorry, Homie uses stable, Wiki uses submission. So it's not like, the point is it's not a credited theory. It's all and as I was listening to this book, because again I did most of the reading through the audiobook, all it reminded me of was what's the horoscope thing? Astrology. What's the horoscope science? What is that called? Astrology. What did I say? Is that what I said? Astrology. So, yeah, it sounded like astrology, and it's all BS. It's like I had a big talk with my girlfriend about all of this last night. Like I think the reason we all, okay, I'm going to get way ahead of myself. I just have so many thoughts because it's so dumb. This book was dumb. Like, there were times where he says, yeah, every person has a dominant color. And then he says, everyone can have a blend of colors. And then he's like, everyone kind of has all of the colors. So, and then the astrology is the same thing. When you read your horoscope, you're like, oh my, yeah, fuck, I guess I am a Scorpio because this totally speaks to me. But all of the feedback that you get from this and from those things, they're generic enough, and I think the part of the science behind it is we can relate to most things to some level. So when someone says you're a compassionate person, like I Googled what is a Leo, and I think a Leo is someone born in June or something. One of the descriptions is compassionate. So if you talk to someone that's a Leo and you say, "Oh, you're compassionate," and the person will say, "Oh yeah, that totally makes sense," because that one time I was nice to I opened the door for somebody when I didn't have to. I guess I am compassionate. But am I not compassionate because I was born in January? It's stupid. So a lot of the characteristics for this book, like, let me read you some from the book. A red person or a dominant person: aggressive, ambitious, strong-willed, goal-oriented, pushing, problem solver, pioneer, decisive, innovator, impatient, controlling, convincing, performance-oriented, powerful, results-oriented, initiator, speed, timekeeper, blah, blah, blah. Yellow, talkative, creative, social, expressive, charming, sensitive, inspiring, encouraging. Green, self-controlled, composed, loyal, understanding, lengthy, stable, supportive. Blue, distant, conventional, insecure, objective, analytical, perfectionist, needs time, reflecting, methodical. I can relate to all of those, or at least some of those in each category. I'm not all in, and we're all some of those things. We're all kind of some of it. A thought that I had early on as I was reading the book, I wrote down, chapter 3, I said, my thought is, can anyone emulate characteristics that they desire, or are we stuck with the colors that we're born as? If we're born a red, are we stuck as a red for the rest of our lives? No, we're fucking not. It's so silly to me. After so the guy that wrote that Medium article, where'd it go? He shares part of Psychology 101 is that behavior is not a result of nurture or nature. Behavior is usually a result of both nature and nurture. The way that we behave or the way that we interact with our world or how we view ourselves is a result of the world that we're born into and the people that raise us. And it's fluid and changes all the time throughout our entire life. And we're not predisposed to be a certain person or to act a certain way. We mold over time, and we grow, and we can mature, and our influences change, our environments change, our access to information changes, and so our behavior changes, our reactions change. Oh, it's so silly. I mean, have I made that point clear enough? I think it's all so silly. So, that being said, I went and took the test twice. I found 2 places where I could take the test. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah, right here. So I just Googled deleting and only, I Googled DISC behavior test, and I found 2 places to take the test. And honestly, there were 100. There were 100 places to go. So it was, by the way, this website called Truity.com, their acronym is different too. Theirs is Drive, Influence, Support, and Clarity. They're not even close to the same words for the, like if it was a legit test, wouldn't the descriptions for the acronym be the same? And wouldn't it be standardized? It's not standardized. Everyone's making it up. Everyone's fucking making it up. So this Truity, I took the test on Truity.com, and I measured 50-50 with Drive and Clarity with D and C. And then I took another test. I took it again on Tony Robbins' website. You know who Tony Robbins is? That big motivational speaker guy? His test was a lot more intricate and had another section to it where he finds out your motivators, what motivates you, it's all intriguing. It's all interesting. Just like you go get your palms read, or you have like a fortune teller do some magical shit to you, or tell you your future or fortune or whatever. It's all fun. It's interesting because it's like all of it is applicable to some extent, whether it's all the way applicable or just barely applicable. But if someone were to tell me you're gonna find great success in your near future, that's gonna make me excited, right? But that can happen to anybody. Or if someone said, you've gone through some traumatic experiences, of course I have. And so have you. We all have, to some level. Nobody's life has been perfect, and nobody's not going to find some amount of success in the future. Unless I just, I could crash and burn. But then like, what credit does the fortune teller have? It's all so dumb to me. Oh, have I made that point clear enough? So I will say that Tony Robbins is he's a big character and has a lot of respect to his name. And at the end of his test, I saved it as a PDF. There's a page titled "How to Assure Assessment Accuracy, Independent and Qualified Testing at Standards Set by the APA and EEOC." This DISC assessment has one of the highest Cronbach scores in the DISC marketplace. We applaud your efforts at making motivators reliable and valid. Basically, they're saying our test is legit. Our test is valid and meets these high standards. This technique is regarded as one of the most robust measures of reliability and presents the highest bar from which to compare. The readers should note that Cronbach's alpha is the method selected for this instrument because of its high standards. The reader is encouraged to compare reliability coefficients presented herein to other vendors, and also to ask those vendors which reliability formulas they use to compute their reliability coefficients. Cronbach's alpha is a measure. Cronbach, is that how you say it? Cronbach? Cronbach's alpha is a measure used to assess the reliability or internal consistency of a set of scale or test items. In other words, the reliability of any given measurement refers to the extent to which it is a consistent measure of a concept, and Cronbach's alpha is one way of measuring the strength of that consistency. I don't even know if that made any sense to me. I think they're just trying to say, yeah, the test is legit. But then he's like, also go take other tests and compare them and then find out what methods they're using to come up with their results. Which is honestly is a responsible way to do something like this. I guess what I'm saying is what real point is there to taking this test or to doing anything like this? And again, I'm going to go back to the article by Dan Katz. Let's see if I can find this section where he says, if Erikson's personality theory did work, which it doesn't, then it would encourage this type of mistake. Someone who acts in a certain way would be seen in terms of their color, and the reasons for any problems would be ignored. I think is this the part? It is difficult to imagine a more unpleasant and unfair way of dealing with a problem than simply attributing it to the fact that the person is the center of conflict, is blue. Naturally, some problems can arise through personal conflicts both in the workplace and within the family, but the solution is communication between all parties, not a reliance on personality theories. Maybe the only positive thing that can be said about Erikson's theory is that it might help some people realize that not everyone thinks the same way they do. Psychologists call this theory of mind, an ability to change perspective, which usually develops in early childhood. In other words, Erikson's book might help someone with the empathetic and intellectual level of a 5-year-old. Burn, baby, burn. This was the highlight, the highlighted spot of the article. A common mistake when problems occur within an organization is to focus on the individuals that are involved in the conflicts. In fact, since it is the context of a situation which decides how people act, the primary concern in addressing any conflict should lie in how the organization works. Before an organization consultant brought in to resolve conflicts Before an organization consultant brought in to resolve conflicts looks at individuals, she should look at the structure. How are decisions taken? How are employees informed of decisions made? How is responsibility shared? Which behavior is rewarded or punished, and in what ways? Yeah. I don't even know if I'm making any sense. You can't... There's just so many. I'm having so many issues with it. Mashed Potato says, I'll be honest, when I've taken these tests in the past, it makes me feel better about my flaws. I end up shrugging my shoulders and being like, guess that's just the way I am. I don't know. I think these things are mostly bogus that lead you to just stay the same. Here, that's a really good point, though. One thing that we were discussing last night was something that humans have always done. The reason why we talk about anything really and create stories and create religions and create governments and create everything, create structure, is because humans crave meaning. We crave meaning to our struggle, to our suffering, to our pleasantries, to our good fortune. We crave meaning. If something shitty happens to you, it's because God is punishing you for X, Y, and Z. But if something good is happening to you, it's because God is rewarding you for X, Y, and Z. That's an example. That's one example. But if you ask somebody out and they reject you, oh, they rejected me because maybe I don't have enough money or because I'm not attractive. But if you ask somebody out and they say yes, it's because, oh, I must be really attractive, or oh, I must have enough money, or I'm funny. Like, we crave creating meaning to our experience. So in this regard, if two people are, in fact, a prime example is at the beginning of the book. Let me share something he says at the beginning of the book. It's exactly what I'm saying. Let's see if I could find it. I just fucking read it. Yeah, okay. I think it's the first paragraph. I was in high school when I first noticed that I got along better with certain people rather than others. It was easy to talk to some of my friends. In any conversation, we always found the right words and everything just flowed smoothly. I've experienced that. There were never any conflicts, and we liked one another. With other people, however, everything just went wrong. What I said fell on deaf ears, and I couldn't understand why. I've experienced that too. It goes on to explain, yeah, he has that experience with his boss where he says that everybody around him is idiots, that he's surrounded by idiots. And these insights I gained were fascinating, and I've never been the same since this journey. The knowledge I acquired has changed me as a person. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What I'm trying to say is we are trying to create meaning to our experience. So this guy, why do I relate better to some people than to others? And the reasoning is because I'm a red and they're a yellow and we're really compatible, or we don't get along because we're both blues, and so we're fucking just not going to get along. I actually was at a party last weekend and someone was asking everybody's fucking horrors, or what would you like, what my sign is, and I said I was born in January 11, and someone else looked at me and said, "Oh, you and me, we are not going to get along." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, because I once dated a Capricorn and we were incredibly incompatible because I'm a fucking Prius and we're just not compatible." And I said, "Okay, yeah, we're probably never going to get along then." It's because you get so entangled in how other people are experiencing the world, how they see themselves, and then Austin Horsey in the chat for the first time viewer. Good morning. You're offending me. Good. Fucking stick around then. You're gonna get really offended. All we're trying to do is explain why we're trying to give meaning and reasons to our life experiences. We're not. Some people do it better than others. Some people like. And I gotta say, one reason why I'm incredibly skeptical of relying just on, especially with horoscopes and astrology, is because most of it is taken on, like faith. And I come from my religious background, and I've left my religious faith, and now I'm just mostly skeptical of things that you just believe in with no good grounds. I don't even know the basis of astrology. I don't know why anybody thinks that it's legit. Why that because you were born at this time, on this day, in this month, on this year means that this is going to happen to you. I don't understand any of that. I'm a Prius. I don't think that's an astrological sign. It makes no fucking difference for me. But if I could be anything, I'd be a Prius. Oh, I just think it's so dumb. Have I made that point clear? What I do want to do though, what I do want to do is, so I did the Tony Robbins test and his results were very comprehensive. But let me just read the results to you so that you could see, like, it sounds really attractive. It gives like, oh, this is you, so it's going to be really good. This is who you are, so this is what's going to happen to you, and then this is where you fall short, so this is how you should be a better person, or this is how you can improve. It's all really attractive. Okay, I'm just going to read it. So, understanding DISC and motivators. DISC is this is from Tony Robbins, the Tony Robbins results. Can I share this I'm going to see if I could share this on the podcast really fast. If I go here and I add display capture, and I'm going to do my, but I want my other screen. Oh, sick. Okay, that worked. So you can read along with me if you want. Oh, yeah, you lost my face, though. Hold on. Holy shit. I fucked this all up. Yeah. You can't even see that. Awesome horsey. I get along with you, I think. Dude, we get along great. But not because we're both, not because I'm a Capricorn and you're a Gemini. That's not why we get along, right? Isn't this what the Stream Deck is for, or whatever has the transitions? Yeah, but like I need to create I don't have the source, Oh, now I can't see this is not worth it. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, here we go. So now I'm going to zoom in for you so you can read along with me. But how many of you are actually watching? Who cares, dude? How many of you are just listening most of you are just listening to this? I've gotten this far. All right. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to... By the way, the Stream Deck does not do what I'm trying to do right here. Okay. So I'm a technician. DISC is a simple, practical, easy to remember, and universally applicable model. It focuses on individual patterns of external observable behaviors and measures the intensity of characteristics using scales of directness and openness for each of the 4 styles. Dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. See how even Tony Robbins' 4 acronyms are different than... They're all different. They're all fucking different. Your DISC style. Technician. I'm a technician. Here's the description. Technicians will seek projects in their area of expertise. They constantly challenge their own work and results. They are likely knowledgeable in many areas. They are easy to work with unless their expertise is challenged. They are quality-oriented and expect strong results from themselves and others. They can become critical of others if they achieve poor results. At times, they can be too insistent on doing things a certain way. Emotionally, needs to be current and keep pace with others. That's called FOMO, baby. Your goal, high expectations for their own growth and advancement. How do you value others? Through demonstrated self-discipline, position, and authority. How you influence a group, projecting confidence and ability to create, implement, and expand the correct activities and actions. The value you bring to an organization, skilled problem solvers and experts in identifying solutions for their own areas of expertise. Cautions, over-focus on personal goals, and may expect too much from others. When under pressure, can become inhibited by overly sensitive to critical feedback. What you fear, being too predictable or being unrecognized for their contributions. Should I read all this? And then I'll talk about the motivators? No, it's all kind of the same stuff. Again, I don't mashed potatoes. Don't cut any of this. I'm not going to. You know that I'm This was not worth it though. Figuring out the stupid. Whatever. Below are some key behavioral insights to keep in mind and share with others to strengthen your relationships. You place high expectations on yourself and others and are able to coach others into being more effective at reaching goals. Some people present high expectations with the ultimatum, get it done or else. You present your high expectations in the spirit of, here's how we can work together to get there, and I'll start. This positive attitude can help others increase their involvement and effectiveness. Caden, look how he puts my own name in there. Caden, your response pattern to the instrument indicates that you are an excellent listener and you are able to get along with a variety of people in many situations. This is a strength that should assist you in the workplace and in your personal life. This trait comes from your enthusiasm and your sincere interest in others. You are able to maintain high standards and at the same time be flexible when necessary. Down here is the critical. I'm just going to go skip to the critical one. You score like those who tend to become vocally disappointed when standards aren't met. However, they may not express their disappointment directly to those who can do something about it. Instead, they sow seeds of discontent with others who don't have control of the situation. More effective results can be achieved by politely approaching the person in control of the situation and explaining the reasons for the disappointment to them. In many cases, the person may not have been aware of the negative impact, and your input can help improve the situation. I'm going to delete this window now. Display capture. Yup. I mean, what's the use of all of this conversation anyway? What's the point I'm getting to? Really, I got to fix my, there we go. Really, the point is that a lot of people think that homeboy Thomas Erickson is a fraud, and I don't even know if he's a fraud. I think because I don't think Tony Robbins is a fraud. I think the problem is, it's pseudoscience. It's not real science. It's they are using these models to explain human behavior in ways that don't have any legs, that can't operate on their own. Austin Horsley says the problem with the science is it's solely based on when you were born. Me and my sister are twins, and we are the complete opposite and don't get along. It was created for people that don't have It was created for people that don't have religion. Yeah, but it has a different function than religion. I think I get what you're saying, but the astrology, like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this this is a different podcast than normal. This one, I'm having a good time because I didn't enjoy this book and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to talk about. So this is way better. Is astrology true? Okay, so from the scientificamerican.com, astrology is founded on understanding the positions of the stars, which seems like a scientific enough pursuit in itself, but is there any science to back up whether astrology impacts our personality and lives? The short answer, no, none whatsoever. Astrology has, from Wikipedia. Whoops. I got a shit. Astrology has not demonstrated its effectiveness in controlled studies and has no scientific validity. So why are people so obsessed with it then? Like, Kayla has a close friend that we were hanging out with a couple weeks ago, who's so into the astrology thing, and And then like the people at the party the other day, we were all talking about our signs, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we would never get along." Like, what? Why do people? Why, are people attracted to it because? Okay, here's my theory. People are attracted to astrology because what's my like? They hear their horoscope and they're like, "Oh my god, that horoscope that totally speaks to me. This must be true." Today's horoscope, Capricorn. Today's horoscope, let's see, this is horoscope.com. September 12th, 2022. Today, for Capricorn. Listen to this. And I'll do you fucking twats in the chat too if you want. A close friend or loved one might drop out of sight today. Oh shit. You may panic when he or she doesn't return your phone calls. Don't jump to conclusions. They're preoccupied with matters that for the moment appear important and will contact you in time. When you do finally connect, you could hear some interesting news. Relax, go about your business, and look forward to the call. Oh, that's so calming. All right. Yeah, so that's my Capricorn for today. Let's see. You're a Scorpio. Horsley, what's yours? What's your sign? Do you know? I could probably Google it. September 12th, 2022, Scorpio horoscope. You ready for this? Demands placed on you by work colleagues could have you stressed. Scorpio. Dresses you as a Scorpio. It's so fucking corny. Demands placed on you by work colleagues could have you stressed, Scorpio. You might feel that your coworkers are taking unfair advantage of you. This could start you thinking of that's a weird way to say that. This could start you thinking of perhaps going into business for yourself or with a partner. And you're probably thinking, "Oh, dude, I totally have thought that before. I totally thought maybe I should go and I don't need to do this. I don't need to be a fucking land surveyor by myself anymore. I can go, I know so and so, they would hook me up and I could get a couple clients and do this by myself." This is your sign, mashed potatoes. This could well be a great idea, but today isn't the day to make a decision this monumental. Wait a few days and give it some serious thought. You hear me, my Scorpio, my sweet Scorpio son? Oh my God. We're just like, they're just blowing smoke at their ass. That applies to me. That applies to Horsley. Let's see. What's let me find Horsley's horoscope. Hayden says, I think it's bold, but after reading that you have to see why some people are intrigued by it. It kind of skews negative and it catches your attention. Yeah. Horsley's a Leo or a Virgo? Sign on August 11th. No, so you're a... Wait. Are you still watching, Austin? It doesn't matter. So what was my... I think I made a... You're right, Hayde. Yeah, you have to see why some people are intrigued by it. Yeah, I'm looking for... Because it's attractive because it gives an explanation. Like, well, one, it's like having a companion when you are pretty fucking lonely. That's giving you advice. It's giving you life advice. I shouldn't even be that negative towards it because, honestly, if it makes you a better person, then it makes you a better person. Or if it helps you think deeply about the world and yourself and about others, then I think it's like it could just do good things. But let's just be honest with ourselves and call it for what it is. Bullshit. It's all bullshit, right? It's all bullshit. And let's just accept the fact that there's nothing to support the validity to the claims. It's all this is just like just like daily advice. It's just your daily horoscope is just daily advice. In fact, for you Scorpio, yesterday, let me tell you what your horoscope was yesterday. And now you can look at it in some retrospect, see if this holds any water. September 11th. During this time, you'll feel especially intuitive, optimistic, and spiritually on a roll. You could feel artistically inspired, Scorpio. Why do they name you? Why do they call you by your sign? You could feel artistically inspired, Scorpio, and channel some of your newfound awareness into recently started projects. Your relationships are probably going well. Your increased understanding of others' needs makes you generous with sympathy or assistance where needed. Enjoy your day. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's so dumb. And to be truthful, that's all this book was about. It's a different approach to the same idea. It's astrology in the psychology world. There's no scientific backing to support these claims, to support this book. And but you do need science to support everything you believe in? No. But let's just accept. Let's accept that there's nothing that can mashed potatoes. I was not on a roll. I watched football literally all day. Yeah, dude, you're feeling especially intuitive, optimistic, and spiritually on a roll. Scorpio. So there's nuance to life. We get to choose what we believe. We get to choose what we accept as reality. We get to, and truthfully, there's consequences to all of our choices, to all of our beliefs, and all of our actions. There's consequences to it. That's just reality. The truth is, what's happening in the real world. This is what I think. This is what science aims to do. Science aims to explain phenomena in the world, and not just by rationalizing experience or behavior or actions or what those things. Science is looking at X plus Y equals Z, and in psychological terms, a person's behavior isn't shaped because they were born as a Scorpio. A person's behavior is shaped by where they were born, when they were born, to whom they were born, and then all of the things that they observed as they were raised and the things that they experienced. That's how a person's behavior is shaped. And sometimes it's shaped for better and sometimes for worse. But and that also doesn't mean that you're stuck as that person either. That can change. This is what science can observe this. Astrology doesn't observe this. And DISC doesn't observe this. DISC says you're born with these traits and have certain impulses because of what you were born with. But that holds no water. There's no research or experiments to support these claims. It does to support this book. It's nice, you can be shaped to become a red or a blue, yellow, or a green. You can be shaped into these colors so that when you read a book like this or take a test like that or read your horoscope, it feels like it's applicable. Oh yeah, I'm totally a green person because what were green people? Patient, relaxed, self-controlled, helpful, whatever. Yeah, kind, considerate. Yeah, I'm totally a green person. But then sometimes you feel like a dick, or you feel power hungry, or what were the other colors? Like sometimes you feel spontaneous or charming or methodical or results oriented. Must I go on? Must I continue to explain how stupid these kind of books are? And but just mostly stupid to me. So if books like this make you a better person, or they help bring peace to you, or they help you make better decisions for your family, in your career, don't not read them. Let's just accept them for what they are. Let's accept that this is a pseudoscience at best. It's a theory. These are theories, and they're not valid explanations for human behavior. You want good explanations for human behavior, go read Behave by Robert Sapolsky, which I'm going to pull up right now and find a couple notes on what human behavior actually consists of. Well, there's so many notes. This book was so good, and it was so long. I should review this book because this one was awesome. I was looking for another book like this, and what I got was a bunch of BS, unfortunately. So, anyway, that's it. I wouldn't recommend this book to someone that's looking for something with scientific evidence. But if you're into the color scheme, behavioral theory, then go read it because it's a international bestseller. It's like this. It's like a. It reminds me of just like a Ponzi scheme kind of thing or a multi-level marketing thing where someone just has a fake. I'm not answering you, spam caller. It's just fake news. It reminds me of someone they're selling nothing really, but people buy it because it feels good or it sounds good or it seems legit. Be aware of what's happening. Be aware of fraud first and foremost, but also be aware of pseudoscience and pseudo inspiration and things that claim to bring amazing results, but are really just a result of something else. Mashed Potatoes, how is every book an international bestseller? How do you get that designation? Tell me about it. I actually read something about pretty much every book that I've read is a New York Times bestseller. And that I can't remember exactly, but that doesn't mean... Oh, dude, this stupid website. This stupid horoscope website. I got to share this. But first I'll say, being a New York Times bestseller doesn't mean that you sold actually, I don't want to butcher it. It doesn't mean what I thought it meant. What does it mean to be a New York Times bestseller? What qualifies you? So, if you want to be a best-selling author on the New York Times list, you must sell between 5,000 to 10,000 copies of your book in 1 week, but the sales cannot all come from one entity. So, anybody can be a best-selling author because you need to sell honestly, 5,000 to 10,000 copies of individual from different people in 1 week. That's pretty impressive. But it doesn't mean you were better than all the other books for a year or for a month or something. To be an international bestseller is probably something similar. Like you sell 10,000 copies in probably like 10 countries. Let's see what that one means. What does it mean to be an international bestseller? Books can be labeled as national bestseller once they've appeared on a bestseller list published in a national publication like the National Post. An international bestseller appears on lists across at least 2 countries. Books can claim number 1 bestseller status if, you guessed it, they appeared in the number 1 spot. So you're only an international bestseller if you are number 1 or if you're a bestseller in 2 countries. Mashed Potatoes, honestly, a pretty low bar. I've waited being a New York Times bestseller way too much. Hey B Moon, am I the idiot? Hey B Moon, a staunch believer in astrology. This conversation puts astrology on blast, and it's not a fair conversation to have. I would rather have a conversation with you in person like this than like this, because I know that you believe. I don't even know if you do personally, but your friends at your party were blasting me with astrology facts, and I basically just shit on astrology. Oh, I don't believe in astrology. Okay. Well, then why did you say, am I the idiot? Yeah, a lot of authors will just buy lots of books and then be named a bestseller. Yeah, it's all BS. I don't think that rating doesn't I think what I go off of, honestly, is still I think it's still the best method to rate a book is how many 5-star reviews, how many with how high are the reviews, the average. All right, Brax, let's do your horoscope. We just did Hayden's and mine, so yours is a Virgo. Your horoscope today, some disconcerting revelations about your past or about the past of someone else close to you could come out today. Ooh. This might be a bit of a shock, Virgo, but it's a positive development nonetheless. It will shed some light on how to deal with current issues in your life or a relationship. Write down your thoughts, meditate, talk to a friend, or otherwise try to make sense of it. Watch out for someone's going to drop a truth bomb on you today, B-Moon. Be ready for it. Let me know what they say. Let me be your friend to talk to when you are contemplating the thing. GG's, your fantasy team is a wagon. Nice. All right, that's it. I'm done with this BS. Next week on Book Club with Caden Kelly, we are going to be reading Money Talks, Financial Freedom by Grant Sabatier. I don't know how to say his name. Sabatier. Grant Sabatier. We'll figure it out. Financial Freedom, a proven path to all the money you will ever need. And it might be the longest money book that I have, honestly. This is going to take a while. Hey, B Moon, read A People's History of America. Let's talk history. I'm down for history, dude. I do history books, but mostly when it's like biology stuff and psychology. But I'm down for it. I'll actually make a note of it right now. So next week will be about money. We'll be here, right? I'm not going to be anywhere. Nope. Should be here. And I don't know what time. So if you want to join me live, you got to go to my blog and find the Twitch or the Facebook or the YouTube, and you got to follow me, and you got to turn on your notifications, and you got to join me when I go live. Otherwise, you can just plan on me around 8 to 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Mondays. Or you can just listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts when they drop. Let's win this tourney Wednesday, says Mashed Potatoes. Yes, sir. Oh, we just unplugged a thing. But my pod is still live, so this is good. I didn't get a notification today, TBH. Do you have notifications turned on, though, is the real question. Let's wipe the floor with these Capricorns. Hey, I really enjoyed today's episode, even though I did not enjoy the book at all. And I'm really glad, this whole thing gave me more insight to how legit these kinds of studies are, and that you shouldn't take everything. More than anything, you should take everything with a grain of salt. Just because this has over 2 million copies sold and is the number one, it took. I think he's from Switzerland or Sweden. I can't remember. But he took whatever country he's from by storm and started making millions of dollars. It just seems to me like a giant Ponzi scheme. But it's working. And it's probably helping a lot of companies and a lot of businesses. So like there's legitimacy behind that, but it's not a duplicatable solution to every problem. It's really just kind of hands-on and saying he's just able to observe someone's power hungry or someone's complacent or somebody's eccentric, and then just to talk about them and help them figure out their problems. Of course, I rang the bell and subscribed. Always research. Yeah, you're totally right. At least be skeptical of what you read, of what you learn. And it's good to do a little bit of extra homework. And I'm glad I did, because I learned that this test it's not sanctioned by the scientific community. This guy, he's considered fraud by the Swedish skeptics. But this was a good conversation. Thanks for showing up. Check out the blog, CadenKellysBlog.wordpress.com, for all of the links to the shit. We'll see you on the next one, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better. But hey, sorry I'm late. I'm here late. Don't you apologize. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you next time.
したいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直している